everyone, and welcome back to Animation Pilgrimage, the show where Tennille and I take a look at every single theatrically released animated film in chronological order. I'm Whitney.
I'm Tennille.
And today we are taking a look at Old Master Q, Water Tiger Tale. No. Style. Water Tiger Style.
I've seen a lot of different titles for this one, and the one that makes most sense to me is actually Water Margin, because that's the story that's being parodied in this movie.
Okay.
So, I'm actually leaning towards Water Margin.
Okay. Mistranslation stuff, it often has something to do with water, and then tiger, and then sometimes another word.
Yes.
In fact, even the opening credits make fun of this title. Because they're fighting over what the middle word is, whether it's tiger or something else. Maybe the other word is margin or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
There could be some wordplay going on here that we just don't understand because...
This was made in Hong Kong.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's in Mandarin, maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know what the original,
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what the original language this movie was made in, but it was made in Hong Kong and shown in Hong Kong and China mostly.
Yeah.
Almost exclusively.
Now, this is the second Old Master Q movie we have watched. You can check out our review for the other one up in the cards. I will say, was not a big fan of the first Master Q movie. I think it was my least favorite film of that year.
Yeah, I think I remember you not liking it, and that was just like last year, 1981, maybe 1980 at the earliest.
Yeah.
But this was an actual film this time.
Yeah, this one was perfectly okay. Nothing like super special or anything, but this was a huge improvement from the first movie. I remember that in the first movie, it just felt like there was just screaming happening all the time and noise happening all the time. And that meant that there weren't any spots for the story to kind of like rest before delivering any of its jokes. And this movie doesn't have that problem. It actually has a little bit of time to breathe and stops for a little bit. And as a result, the jokes land a whole lot better. I was consistently like chuckling at little jokes throughout this movie pretty much all the time.
This much more so felt like the Old Master Q comics that I read, where it has some downtime and then it has the joke and then like the beat panel and stuff.
Right.
Like this felt better.
Truer to the
regards.
comic.
Yes, for sure. So, how about a plot synopsis?
Go for it.
All right, so Old Master Q, Potato, and normal guy, I don't remember his name. He's not actually normal. He also knows some form of martial arts. Doesn't matter. I call him normal.
The third one.
The third one, who's fairly normal looking. He looks like an average Joe versus these other two.
Right. I want to just call him Joe.
Either way, they're with a doctor guy who has invented a time machine. So they go back in time. And back in time, they just interact with various characters and stories from Chinese lore. You said it was Water Margin that
Yes.
this is mostly a parody on?
Yes, this is a parody on Water Margin, which is one of China's oldest novels.
Okay.
So, and it just has like the fictional story of these characters. I'm not familiar with the original source text, so I can't tell how like accurate or funny the parody is because I don't know really what it's parodying.
Yeah, we don't know the original source, so we can only go off of how these characters are interacting and like talking about these characters. So
it definitely sounds like our heroes though are going in and kind of just messing
everything up.
all the events that should be happening.
yes, for sure. So, for example, some of the things that they do, there's this one guy called Wu Cheng, apparently, in the subtitles at least.
Yeah.
And he apparently kills a tiger, but Potato actually kills the tiger with a gun.
Yeah, because they
instead.
brought a gun to...
The super past.
Yeah.
On top of that, there is an adulterous wife who in this version of the movie is not an adulterous wife. She's just being preyed upon by this gross lecherous guy. And then she tries to heal her husband, and in the original story poisons him, which in this version it's the adulterous guy just poisoning the medicine.
Right.
But he doesn't die in this version of the story because the main characters give him some modern medicine to heal him instead.
Yes.
Then later they throw some grenades at the local magistrate.
I'm like, you guys brought grenades? What the hell?
Yeah, I gotta say, those first couple of story bits, they actually like point out, it's like, oh, it's like the dude from the story and stuff.
Yeah.
But like the farther they get into it, the more I kind of lost who or what they're really interacting with.
Yeah, because they're just like, oh, okay, yeah, you should know what this is. And Whitney and I are like, we don't actually.
We don't have any clue what's going on. But that's fine. They also beat up a big strong guy who like took over a hotel or something. And then later they play a prank on a different magistrate guy by pretending that they're ghosts and stuff.
Yeah.
Which drives the one guy crazy, and he gets a hold of their gun, and then he chases them around with the gun.
Yeah.
And then, like, chases
Silly
the other
slapstick.
villain characters out of the castle. And, like, that's it. Old Master Q and crew go back to the present, and oops, they accidentally took a whole bunch of treasure with them, so now they're rich.
Yeah.
The end.
Like I said, very simple, but you know what? I think, like, I don't know what it's parodying, but, like, the joke still landed without me even knowing the source text, so I was like, alright, you know what? This seems pretty alright, pretty decent.
And
it works, it's serviceable.
yeah, even knowing that, like, this is a parody of some older text, I was like, okay, just knowing that much alone helps with what kind of the context of what's supposed to be happening here so much more.
Right. I can make a lucky guess.
Like, the main character who supposedly kills the tiger, he's a wimp in this version and an alcoholic, which presumably he wasn't in the original.
Well,
or if he
or
was, they're
maybe-
super playing it up
Yeah, exactly.
and stuff like that.
Or maybe, you know, like, in the story, he is also, like, an alcoholic, but in the original story, maybe that's, like, a cool character trait of his, whereas this, because it's a parody, is being like, if he actually did drink all this time, like, all these times, wouldn't he just be, like, absolutely wasted the
All
whole
the
time?
time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, that kind of silly stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So, I gotta say, the animation, art direction, lighting, staging, all that kind of stuff, the pacing,
Way better than the first one.
so much better. It felt like an actual film. Unfortunately, the actual, like, upkeep on this film has not been... the movie has not been preserved well.
Yeah.
Like, we had to watch this on YouTube, and it was, like, 480p, and the subtitles are also really bad. Like,
Which makes it hard to know what's going on exactly as well.
It's like, we get the general concepts of what's supposed to be happening, but it feels like the subtitles are for a different dub that we didn't actually watch.
Right. They feel like subtitles that have been translated multiple times. Like, you know how when you put something into Google Translate several times, you end up with, like, a completely different sentence than what you the original intent was? That's kind of what it feels like here. Like, it's not incomprehensible. It's just enough where it feels like a few steps lost.
Yeah. But, like, what you can see through the fuzz, it's like, ooh, I really like the design for this tiger, and I think these backgrounds would look really nice, and stuff like that. And, like, if only it had been preserved a bit better.
The movie uses a different kind of smear frame that you don't see all the time, mostly in, like, cartoons like this, where they use, like, a white line to indicate, like, fast movement, smear lines and stuff like that. And, it's just, it looks nice. It gives this movie a style that feels reminiscent of like a comic or something like that, which I think is a nice touch.
Okay, yeah. And that's mostly all I have to say about the movie.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say. This was perfectly fine. It's definitely going to rank a lot higher for me in this year than its
predecessor did in that year.
Exactly.
For sure. For sure. So if you do know Old Master Q, I would definitely suggest watch this one and not the previous one.
Yep.
Either way, join us back here next time as we go to Australia. And we're going to be watching Sarah and the Squirrel, also known as The Seventh Match.
Which is like a spiritual successor to Dot and the Kangaroo, right?
Yes, it's another movie made by Jorm Grass.
Yeah.
In like the same style of animated characters on real video footage of backgrounds and stuff.
All right.
Also, this one's supposed to be a sad, serious film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's probably going to be terrible.
We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens. But yeah, all right. Okay, well, see you then for that one.
共你飛遍地球，你在前，我在你後。